السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أعزائي طلبة المرحلة الرابعة قسم اللغة الإنجليزية. In this lecture we are going to go on explaining some notions that are related with the idea of concord. So, subject-verb concord, the most common type of concord in English is concord of number that is available between the subject and the verb. The singular subject requires a singular verb, and the plural subject requires a plural verb. For example, my son, it is a singular subject, so that it takes here the verb plays. My son plays tennis after supper. So here we have a singular subject, my son, and a verb with the S third person singular, plays. And my sons play tennis after supper. In this example, we have a plural subject, my sons, with S plural, and they take an infinitive verb, which usually used with plural subjects, in this way. When the subject is a noun phrase, the phrase is considered as singular if the head of that phrase is singular. The noun phrase usually composed of a determiner plus an adjective, one adjective or more, in addition to a noun that is considered as the head of that noun phrase. So if the noun within this noun phrase is singular, so we are going to consider this subject as singular. And if it is a plural, we are going to treat this subject as a plural. The blue car is expensive. Here, the subject is a noun phrase, the blue car. So we look at the head of this noun phrase, which is here the noun car, which is singular. And that's why we use the verb is, which is used with the singular subjects. On the contrary, the blue cars are expensive. Here also we have a noun phrase as a subject, having the word cars as the head of this noun phrase, and that's why we dealt with it as a plural and give it the verb are, which is suitable for a plural subject. We have an important note here. If the subject is a clause, it is considered usually as singular. So when the subject is a clause, we look at it as if it is singular, so that we use a singular verb. To act like that is inhuman. So here the subject is the clause, to act like that. So here we use it as a singular subject, regardless whether it has a word that indicates it's a plural form. Still, since it is a clause, we consider it as singular, so that we use a singular verb with it. When a prepositional phrase or an adverb functioning as a subject, it is considered as singular. So also, if we have a prepositional phrase or an adverb, and we use that adverb or that prepositional phrase, we are going to consider them as singular, so that we use a singular verb. In the holidays is better. In the holidays is better. Notice here, although within this prepositional phrase, we have the word holidays, which is a plural form, a plural word. However, we consider this subject as singular because it is a prepositional phrase. The same for the second example. After the holiday comes the exams. So also here we use the verb comes, which is used usually with the singular subjects. When we have a nominal relative clause, we could have both plural and singular form. So since the nominal clause is equal to the noun phrase or a noun because it is nominal, we can choose one of the two, whether we consider it as singular or plural. So we can use the singular form and we can use the plural form. What comes to his mind are foolish, or what comes to his mind is foolish. So we are free to say what comes to his mind are or is foolish. Whatever he says is correct, or whatever he says are correct. An important note that we should take it in our consideration that we have some singular nouns which are ending with s. This s is not the plural s morpheme. Rather, it is an only s that is used with these nouns. Let us take some examples like linguistics. So the word linguistics, the noun linguistics, is not a plural, it is singular. That's why we use it as singular when we use it within a sentence. So we can say, for example, linguistics is difficult. So we cannot say linguistics are difficult. That is wrong because the noun linguistics is a singular noun. The same with mathematics, phonetics, statistics, etc. When we have plural nouns or coordinated nouns, and we use them as name or a title or a quotation. So when we have a sentence in which we use a plural noun or a coordinated noun with and, for example, as we will see in this example, and we use these nouns as title or a name for a company, a shop, for example, or a quotation, we use them as singular. For example, Tom and Jerry is a very popular cartoon. So here, Tom and Jerry, although we have Tom and Jerry, which is a coordinated subject, we use it as singular. We consider it as singular because here we are referring to a title of a cartoon. And that's why we use it as a singular. Now we come to the Notional Concord. The Notional Concord and the proximity are only cases that affect applying the three types of concord that we mentioned earlier in the previous lecture. I'd like to remind you with the three types of concord, which are the concord of number, the concord of person, and the concord of gender. Now, concerning the notional concord, we mean by notional concord is that the agreement of verb with the subject according to the meaning of number, rather than the actual presence of grammatical marker for that notion. So the notional concord is related with a group of nouns which are called the collective nouns. The collective nouns are nouns which are grammatically singular, however, on the level of meaning, on the conceptual level, they are plural. Let us take the following example. The government have broken all their promises. Now, if we come to the noun government, it is a collective noun, by the way. Now, if we look at it grammatically, it is singular because it doesn't have the as a plural. However, when we look at the meaning of this noun, we can say that the word government includes so many people and institutions. So it could be considered as a plural on the level of meaning. And that's why, applying the idea of notional concord, we considered this noun as a plural, so that we used a plural verb here, which is the verb have. Not only the verb have, but also the pronoun there. The government have broken all their promises. So here, the idea of concord, that is the concord of number, is affected by what we call it as the notional concord. That is considering the meaning of the word rather than its grammar. Having the idea of proximity, the principle of proximity denotes agreement of the verb with a closely preceding noun phrase. If we have a noun phrase in which we have more than one noun or more than one noun phrase, the subject is composed of more than one noun phrase. In this case, the principle of proximity is going to be applied. That is, we consider the noun phrase or the noun that is closely preceding the verb. So, if this noun phrase that is close to the verb is singular, we are going to use a singular verb, and vice versa. Not only the students, but also the teacher wants some rest. Look here. Not only the students. The first part of this subject is plural, students. However, look at the second part. But also the teacher. It is singular. So here we have one part of the subject is plural. The second part is singular. So here we come to the principle of proximity. Which one is close to the verb? Here, in this case, we have the singular, the teacher. That's why the verb here became also singular. So it became not only the students, but also the teacher wants some rest. A singular verb used with this because we applied the principle of proximity. Getting back to what we call it as collective nouns. So what are the collective nouns? The collective nouns are notionally plural, but grammatically singular. The verb may be either singular or plural. So when we have a sentence in which the subject is a collective noun, we are going to have either a singular subject, or a singular verb, or a plural verb. But is it a matter of freedom to choose a singular verb or plural verb? Indeed, no. If the collective noun is considered as a single undivided unit, we are going to consider it as singular so that it takes a singular verb. But if it is considered as a collection of individuals or units, so we are going to consider it as a plural, as we see here in this example. The team are tired of training. The team are tired of training. Here, the noun team is considered as a collection of players. So we consider it here as a plural, so that we used a plural verb are. Thank you very much, and see you in the next lecture. Bye.